8:10 where Nevada comes to talk. Daybreak Nevada here rolls on hour number 2 here on a sure happy it's Thursday, 30th day of April. A lot of things going on today. We will have the president on later. We will have Governor Sisolak's press briefing. We will have that live for you here on the Nevada Talk Network. I've got a lot of news to go through today. First of all, though, as you heard me mention last hour, a press release from Mount Wheeler Power coming out. Kevin Robison, the CEO of Mount Wheeler Power. How many places can you get a power company CEO to come on the radio with you? Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Wyatt.
We haven't chatted for it's been almost a year and a half since we've even chatted off the air. You're just busier than anything these days.
It's been quite a year and a half. Actually, been in the role now 2 years, but it's been a little bit a surprise. But for the most part, I've been very comfortable with it.
Well, and I think the people of Mount Wheeler and the people of Ely and White Pine County and eastern Nevada have really been very, very happy with what you have been able to accomplish and carry on the reputation of Mount Wheeler Power. Something that I don't think any of us could have anticipated happened over at Mount Wheeler Power. Talk a little about what we have talked about this morning with a subcontractor ending up with COVID-19 in your facility.
Yeah, last fall we initiated the construction of our vehicle storage and and the remodeling of our member service area where our members come in and interface with our employees. And that's been ongoing since August, September of last year. And morning, the 27th, I received a phone call from our direct contact with Perrick, our Perrick Construction, which is our general contractor, and said that they had been noticed that there had been some symptoms, and an employee that was associated with the drywall, basically the tape and texture people, that particular team had went in for symptoms and testing for COVID-19. And then Tuesday afternoon, we received notice that later in the afternoon, that we'd received notice that it was in fact a positive test. Immediately, we went into a proactive measure. We basically cleaned the office out. Our Tuesday afternoon at 2:00, we closed the office, and there was a contractor that came in and did sterilization and cleaning for about 9 hours throughout the entire facility. We've gone through and made sure we're putting some protocols in place to make sure that we don't have those contract employees anymore. We've had the question from people, why do you have contractors in your building anyway? Well, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the governor basically deemed construction as an essential business.
Right.
And so, we have an obligation to continue with that, legal obligation, obviously. We would have been in breach of contract to terminate that. And so, we've taken all the proactive measures. It just speaks to the fact how you have to be personally responsible. And, once you start to feel those symptoms and start to feel like you're not feeling well, you have to take the proactive measure personally to do what's right, and that's to isolate yourself. And hopefully this is minimal impact. We do not ever want to put our members or our employees in a position where they're in harm's way. That has never been our position.
Now, I want to emphasize this individual is not a White Pine County resident.
He is not. In fact, one of the difficulties that we have, where we are the third party here, we had to work with Perrick and their safety and health officer to coordinate with the Salt Lake County Health Department to get the confirmation of the positive test, and that took some time.
It does, and you and I were talking off the air about this. I think it's funny. Back in the olden days, the hospitals used to issue daily press releases of admissions, discharges, births, all that stuff. And now, thanks to HIPAA, hospitals can't release that information anymore. It has to come from the patient.
No, and I think this pandemic is going to, I think it's going to force Congress, or at least make them take pause and think about these types of things, because this is in the essence of public health. And when you have a situation like this, you don't have to release people's names, but you have to be able to get the particulars of where they've been. How long have they felt exposed or sick? You need to have that type of information for you to do the proper tracing to eliminate the spread, or at least minimize the spread. And I think Congress, at least I'm hopeful that they'll take a look at that.
Well, they getting anything out of Congress is pulling teeth. You know that. Yeah.
So true.
We have dealt with all this. You and I have never seen anything like this. I mean, I'm about to turn 64 if I make it through next month. But if this kind of sort of makes you realize what people went through even though we haven't had the immense amounts of deaths that they had in 1917 with the Spanish flu, it makes you realize that, life and all of these sort of things are just very fragile.
You're exactly right, and for this generation and the generations that are living today, it's a new experience. It's totally different than what we've ever seen in our lives, and we've been forced to take some measures that we never dreamed of. But we also remember back in the days of chickenpox and those types of things. We were laughing early on in the introduction of this pandemic that your mom and dad used to force you to go play with kids that had chickenpox so you could get rid of it and get it through the household and have it done. But that's not the case with the COVID-19 virus for sure. But it is a new day, but I think we're going to be better for it, and we're definitely going to be stronger.
All righty, Kevin Wheeler. Kevin Robison, Mount Wheeler Power. This tells you how, once I get into the second hour of this show, it gets kind of crazy. But Mount Wheeler Power in Ely, again, everything's fine. This individual has been quarantined outside of our county, so that's not a problem to worry about. And everything is fine at Mount Wheeler. And I got to tell you, I was in your facility Christmas time. And in the middle of the construction, and it was just, listen, I've dealt with construction, and I know how crazy it is, but this has to have been a crazy time for you just with the construction.
Yeah, it is, and it's something we needed to do. Wyatt, we have a large amount of vehicle assets that sit outside that get exposed to the elements. That when our crews are called out on a snowy night where they've got 6 or 8 inches of snow on a vehicle and they have to clean that off, jump start it because it's cold or whatever it is, it just became apparent to us, and especially with the cost of vehicles today, we needed to house them in a facility that makes it readily available for service to the members. And then, unfortunately, with the death of Sergeant Ben Jenkins on the 27th, it really brought to light why we need to securitize our office. We just don't know what elements and what individuals are out there, and I'm not saying that they're there today, but we have to be proactive versus reactive. And so, the access to the office will be escorted access anymore, but we'll still have walk-in access. Once this pandemic's over, we'll be able to get into the office and meet face-to-face with our member services people, our engineering people, and we're very proud of what we've got here. We're very appreciative of our membership across the 7 counties in the 2 states of Nevada and Utah, and we appreciate the opportunity to serve.
And that is one of the things that I can tell you about Mount Wheeler Power. They have always been kind to us. When, in fact, I have I think I've told this story on the air. We had a problem with our generator here that we have that in the mill here to get worked on. But one day we were told that, you're not going to have power for 8 hours. And I said, what? And Mount Wheeler worked with us so that we could stay broadcasting across this 7-station network across the state of Nevada and keep us on the air here. And that, you guys have always been very...
Well, we appreciate you saying that. And, we're member-centric. We're member-owned. We have to respond and be accountable to our members. And, the strength of our membership that's our foundation. And so we have to make sure that what we do and the decisions that we make are either in the benefit or to be the least impact to our members as possible. So we strive to do that. We're not perfect at it, but please know that's in our forefront.
And it's always a work in progress. Customer service is always a work in progress.
Absolutely.
All righty. Kevin Robison, Mount Wheeler Power, spending some time with us this morning on Daybreak Nevada, 8:21, where Nevada comes to talk. And we'll be back with Cosette Eldridge from RSVP with some senior information. Thanks for tuning in to Daybreak Nevada here, brought to you by Taco Time, Sahara Motors, and the White Pine Chamber of Commerce. Good morning.